sensational Siyoli Waters. If you're not somebody who follows squash, if you're not somebody who knows too much about the game or only do it in the club, your local health and racket or whatever you want to call it, your gym, there is a lot to know, and she's going to be explaining it to you. But let's just get you up to speed with exactly with Siyoli, what it is that makes you South Africa's best. How did you get from East London to be the #1 squash player in the country?
Sure, that's quite a long one, but I'll see how I can shorten it. But I started playing in East London, actually Grahamstown, so in primary school. But the school that I was at had squash. That's often the easiest vehicle, should I say, that helps people to be able to learn how to play the game. But I think it was in the early stages, like when I was 13, is when I started really, getting good at the game. I played everything. I played tennis, squash, hockey, athletics, all these things. I played it all, but squash got me.
Kuzo zonke lezi. Hockey, athletics, tennis, you're good. Those make a lot of money. Or choosing squash.
Yeah,
you could have been like, look at the arms, Serena Williams.
Hey, as one as guns. I had to work hard for these guns. Is it this one?
Put them out.
Okay, this is my ladylike arm,
okay,
but this is the one I play with. So this is the big gun. This is the big gun. This is a small one.
Can't you squash I saw?
I squash, but Jim, you've got to be strong. So with squash, you have to be strong. You've got to be flexible. It's such a combination of just using your entire body. So really, squash athletes, I think, are some of the hardest working athletes.
I need to do a better job of selling you, because between 2004 and 2014, you were named South Africa's Squash Player of the Decade.
Yes.
Of the decade.
Yes, I actually shared that prize. I shared it with another champion, Neil Swart. So she actually was the first 5 years, and I probably was the next 5 years. And so in terms of the decade, we shared that. Yeah, so I think it helps. I won my national championships. I was coming second for 3 years before I eventually won that championship. So it's nice to be recognized that way, but I'm not done yet.
And you, obviously, you can't play the highest level of squash in this country. So you do a lot of traveling.
Yes.
How often are you away?
I am away generally. Yeah, my hubby, I've got a very supportive hubby. Ngishatile. Ever since I've been pro. So
and you're not even home, so
I've been pro for 6 years. That's what I'm saying. He's a special guy, ne? So now we sport. So I appreciate that he understands the way of life.
How often does he miss you when you're away?
So basically, I'm pretty much gone once a month, at least. Once a month I'm out the country.
For how long?
It can vary from being a week to up to 2 weeks of being away. Yeah.
And you're all over, New Zealand, USA, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You're playing the best in the world.
Yeah.
Who's the best right now?
The best right now, the nation that's actually dominating is Egypt.
So, Africa?
Yeah, live Africa, I'm telling you. So Egypt. I think what it is that Egypt has, in the last 10 years, has been able to produce champions. And as a result, these children are practicing on the club and then actually seeing the world #1. So at the age of 13, they're not afraid to look at you and go, I want to be world #1. And as a result, they've got this large number of children all fighting to be world #1. And then what's happening is they come, you know what the Russians are to tennis? That's what Egyptians are, and they're coming through as teenagers.
And you played Raneem.
Yes.
Who's Egyptian and the world #1. You had your chance. I
did.
It's not every day you get to play the #1 in the world.
No, of course. So
you got to play her, and that was just last year in Hong Kong.
Yeah, in Hong Kong, yes.
How'd it go?
Well, that was my first time playing her. Raneem, obviously at the time, was definitely on top form. You know what it felt like? I'm coming. Wait, I've got to bring the story. I have to bring the story in next. Okay, I lost, but I have to say, I fought. The first half, I was fighting, like I was in there, and then she just ran away. I don't understand.
So first half and then Bagtrapa.
Yeah, I was in there. I was getting in there, and then it was 1-1, 1-1, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0, neck and neck, and then, until 5-0, and then all of a sudden, the game was over. So that's where I need to study and go, okay, what happened there? No, the thing is with these girls, the top in the world, the top 10, they have something extra special. They're able to, first gear, second gear, third gear. They've got many gears. So I think that's often the case, is that they're able to just continue playing consistent and beautiful squash much longer than
what's going to take you there? I mean, if you know what it is they have, what takes Siyoli Waters to top 10?
I think exposure these days, exposure is always the big word for all sporting people. You want exposure to overseas, it's not that anymore. Exposure is not enough. It's good, it's not enough. It's about playing against them on a consistent level and a consistent amount of time. So for example, yeah, if I had the Raneem to train with every single day of the week, that exposes you to that level on a regular basis. So you don't have time to drop down and play your bed game.
But how do you fund this? I mean, squash is not on TV. It's only in the gym. How do you afford this?
Clubs. It's also in the clubs.
No, what I mean is that for most South Africans, they're exposed to it in the gym. That's what they do. Lunchtime, you can't get a court. It's full, it's packed, everyone's trying to play. But it's not something that you see on television that's making big money, big checks handed out. How do you fund your squash career?
Yeah, so that's often the challenge to squash players. And I'm sure other sports which are considered to be Cinderella sports. But unfortunately, in the last 3 years, I've had a fantastic company, Laser Logistics, that started backing me and also has backed the men's SA champion, as well as last year's SA champion, who when I was away in New Zealand. So basically, this is what this has helped us to do is to be able to plan ahead and be able to see in the year that we need to play X amount of tournaments, and that's been a fantastic improvement. And as a result, I was able to get into the top 30 in the world from that sponsorship.
Wonderful to hear. But I've been following you, checking with you what's been happening. And the first half of this year, ngithi okay, British Open ngizokubona angukuboni. Ngithi where were you the first half of the year on the squash circuit?
Ask me about 2015.
No, I want to know this year, 2016. Siku June manje, and I'm only seeing you now.
Sad.
What were you up to?
Okay, no, I'm so sad. It's been such a slow start to the year. Last year, this time, I was actually playing, I'm bringing back 2015, I was playing probably the best squash, where I caused an upset by beating a former world number 2. Her name was Jenny Dunkov. She was world number 15 at the time. So it was a tight match. That was last year. But this year, I went to the US. So January, I went to US and Canada. But I went, you know that
January
feeling?
It's winter,
no, minus 17. In some places, it's minus 17, but not this time. It was very cold. But it was snowy. You know when you feel like you've got a flu, and as sports people, we kind of like ignore such things. So before leaving, I was thinking, I'm not feeling well. But then I went, because I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks.
So, ne flu la Mzansi. And then
mid-Jan. Then exactly. Then Kweli Plain. Canada snow.
And then?
I was out. I was just wiped out. And then, but I continued. I played the second. I thought I felt better and played the second tournament. And also there, something just wasn't right. But the worst thing is only when I came home, when I realized, you know, people say you have flu and they say you lose energy. That's never happened to me before. And actually what happened is as soon as I felt better, I went straight back into the gym, which is the worst thing to do. And then I was pretty much I was in bed for a whole week and 2 weeks in February. And then as a result, our coach decided, you know what, take this time as a break. Sometimes you don't know when you need a break. It's a blessing. Take the time. So March was off, and I'm easing back in from April, May. I'm ready to compete now, so I'm busy competing.
I'm glad we were able to introduce you to South Africa. Siyoli Waters, you're doing us proud. Even though it's on one of those sports we don't see on television, they've seen you now.
They've seen me. Thank you so much for having me.
The #1 squash player in South Africa from the Eastern Cape. She's doing the business.